what's going on, everyone? This is Chris coming at you from the channel I Am Toys. It's been a while, right? Since the last review, probably a couple of months. I don't even know, man. You know, time is relative. You know, you get busy doing things and, you know, life pops up. We all have day jobs and whatnot, and, you know, things get busy, man. But this is, it's nice to pop out some good reviews here and there. You know, you can definitely depend on me to still put some content out, you know, here and there. I'm not, like I said, I'm not really here to, you know, make money per se. You know, I do have, you know, some monetization turned on for, you know, some of the videos, but, you know, that money essentially just goes to friggin' collectibles, you know, just about, you know, anything that I end up getting, I usually will review at some point. I know I definitely have a backlog of some stuff. I know people are waiting for me to do that Beta Metalli, you know, H-Kills figure, and I will do that at some point, but just, man, it's like motivation these days, you know what I mean? It's like, and I like that figure and I want to do it, man, but it's like, you know, maybe it's my my ADHD that, you know, still rearing its head up, you know, things that are, you know, repetitive and can be tedious. You know, those of us with ADHD, we tend to, you know, push those things away like it's kryptonite. So even though it's fun, you know what I mean? It's, you know, stuff we got to battle with. You know, when you have ADHD growing up as an adult and, you know, you're not medicated anymore, you know what I mean? You got to use natural coping skills. But anyway, man, those of you who follow the channel know that, you know, I don't just collect 1/6 figures and horror. I collect some statues and busts, and, you know, those of you maybe have heard me say in videos before that, you know, I was raised by a single mom, you know, and obviously she was around, you know, she raised me, but, you know, didn't have many male kind of role models. So, you know, I loved movies. I was raised by a lot of film to some extent, and some of you may remember me kind of referring to Schwarzenegger as like one of my 5, you know, kind of like surrogate like movie fathers kind of growing up. And those of you who are like, well, who are the other 4? Those other 4, you know, would obviously be, you know, Kurt Russell, Sylvester Stallone, Jean-Claude Van Damme, and Bruce Willis. Like, those were the 90s, you know, 80s action stars, man. And yeah, like, you know, you learned a lot of lessons from some of those films, man. You know, and how to be brave and stand up for yourself. So, you know, again, you know, movies are a powerful thing. But anyway, you know, this is a bleh. But anyway, this is another bust, you know, statue. Those of you who, but anyway, you know, this is a bust, 1-to-1 scale bust of Arnold Schwarzenegger from the Terminator Dark Fate film. This is made by Infinity Studio in collaboration with a company called Azure, or an artist per se, an artist studio. And man, they did an incredible job on this, man. I mean, I know you guys have already been looking at it, you know, as I'm talking here, and probably like, God damn, man. And some of you are probably like, man, crap movie, that's an awesome bust, but it's from a shitty movie. I have to disagree, man. I did like them. I did like the movie. You know, I'll talk about it a little bit more. You know, obviously people have mixed feelings about it, but it's a good film, man. In the grand scheme of the franchise, it's definitely one of the better ones. And whether you liked it or not, man, there was no way in hell that I wasn't going to add, you know, this incarnation of the T-800, Arnie's last film presentation as, you know, the Terminator on my shelf, man. You know what I mean? Next to my Queen Studios, you know, T800 that I have, and I have a review of that as well. So if you guys want to check that out, you can. I'll probably post the, you know, the video link at the end of it too. Also an incredible statue. But man, dude, this is amazing. So let's just get into it, and again, hopefully hit that 4K option. And as always, you know, like and subscribe. You know, if you like the content, and share the damn videos, man. All right, we'll see you on the other side. So here you go. Here's a look at the base. And those of us who are Terminator fans know what the base is supposed to essentially symbolize. That's basically, you know, the T-800, you know, hip section, you know, the rotating pieces by the hip, that would be kind of the hip joints, I guess, and some of the pistons there and whatnot. And that is basically the base you get, you know. So obviously the other side looks exactly, you know, pretty much like this side. There's not really much going on at the back. You know, you see there's some grime weathering on here as well. You got the Terminator Dark Fate logo right there. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, you know, it's a cool idea. I like that they did it, and you know, I'm not knocking it, dude. It's all casted resin. You know that it's definitely not metal. I am happy it's not metal, because man, with this already, it's already heavy, this thing, man. Moving it, dude, you got to be a bodybuilder just to be able to move this thing, man. A lot of people, once they get this set up, they're not going to move it. It's going to be like 2 people, you know, at least taking this thing apart or trying to carry it. You know, I'm a pretty big dude. I'm like 212 pounds, and I work out as well, so, you know, it's not that big of a deal for me. But for, you know, the average collector, this thing is a behemoth, man. a behemoth. So, you know, it's okay. You know, I know for the price, some people might say, hey, they should have gave you metal, man, but, you know, it is what it is. And we'll talk about the price point and all that stuff. And as we go up, you know, this is the shirt, you know, that he was wearing in part of the film, and you get some battle damage underneath, and there's a little bit more than that. The shirt's not entirely lined up with it. And that's the one problem that I've seen, even with the Queen Studios one, is sometimes trying to get the shirt lined up with some of the battle damage, you know, components. But, you know, you can see where the exposure points are, and you get some more up there, and you can see some of it is kind of coming through. But, you know, I definitely would have liked, you know, for it to be more, you know, kind of in unison. But, you know, not everything's going to be perfect, man. You know, for the price point, you know, you wish it was, but, you know, again, it's not too big of a deal for me. Some people who have OCD and are super anal are going to be like, ah, you're not going to be able to get over it. But, you know, as we kind of go up, you look at this torso, man, and I'm going to back you out a little bit, dude. Very, very accurate, you know, to Schwarzenegger's kind of body type in the movie. You know what I mean? It's really well done. And as he's gotten older, you know, his chest has changed, and it's great. They kind of get that older look of what his chest looks like now. You know, that's really, really cool, man. Really, really fucking cool. And then as we kind of go up, you know, you have the endoskeleton arm here, kind of almost like recreating that scene from the T2, you know, element, or from Dyson's house when he cut his the forearm skin off. This is about as close we'll probably get to a T2, you know, kind of look. But Queen Studios recently did put out another, you know, T2 bust, and which I definitely getting. Pre-ordered that on day one, man. Already sold out, and between this and my Queen Studios battle damage version and that, man, it's the trifecta to own, dude. Because the Queen Studios one, that battle damage one, is still incredible. And this is also resin, I believe, you know, metallic cast. Not metallic cast, but painted metallic, essentially. But it's not metal. You know, again, would have been nice if maybe at least this was metal, you know, especially for the price point, man. But, you know, for $4,500, man, you know, at least the arm, you know, the endoskeleton arm, like maybe some die cast at least or something, you know, would have been nice. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is some die cast in that, but I'm pretty sure it's not. I think that's all resin, man. I don't remember hearing anything about this being die cast or any kind of metal components, but it would have been nice if they actually, you know, would have given you that. And then as you go over here, man, god damn, dude, like, it's absolutely incredible, dude. And the hair does not look like that out of the box. You definitely got to stylize it, you know, to get it to kind of where you want it to be. And it's not difficult. You just got to be careful, man. Follow the directions that they give you in the book, and you'll generally be all right, man. And as we come over here, man, it just looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger from just every angle, man. It's absolutely incredible, man. Absolutely fucking incredible. And we'll go over this side, see some of the battle damage there, and I'll try to get up and show you some of the other things. I'll rotate them around a little bit so you can get a better shot of the sides, because the length of the camera that I'm using, you know, I'm situated in one part of the house or of my basement, and trying to get closer is kind of not feasible. You know, it makes it, I'm further away from this than you actually think I am, essentially. So, but I'll move him around so that way you guys can, you know, get some shots of, you know, looking at him, what he looks like from the side and whatnot. But man, absolutely fucking incredible. And we'll move in here a little bit just so you guys can see. Man, dude, the twinkle in the eye, just fucking absolutely badass, man. Just the realism, that silicone, and I don't know if I probably forgot to mention that. Yeah, this is all silicone. Just the head anyway. The head down to the neck and a little bit of the trap area. The trapezius muscles are also silicone, and down the back too. Not the whole back, but like I said, that kind of quarter piece that you see. But man, the fucking realism that silicone gives, even though I'm kind of hit or miss on it, because if you have a really good painter, resin can look just as good. You know, YJ Park is a perfect example. You guys go check his Facebook or his Instagram out and see some of his sculpts and what he's done. And he uses resin. He doesn't use silicone. And they're real as hell. So, you know, silicone's cool, man. But if you got somebody who can really fucking paint, you really can't tell the difference, man. I'm telling you. You know, it would just be haired, you know, basically. But the time that's put into this, I mean, they hole punch every frickin' hair, dude. I know with Queen Studios, they said that was like 80 hours, like 2 weeks of work on each one of those busts. So, man, I'm assuming probably the same, you know, with this. And now you had to do hair on the face too, so you're adding more hours. Just fucking absolutely badass, man. Just look at that shit. Man, like, so let me turn this guy around so that way you guys can see the side and some of the battle damage areas. And then I'll turn the light on in his eye as well, of course. So you guys can see that little glow. So we'll get to it. So I pushed him to the side just a little bit to show you a different look of the profile, man. Just to show you how amazing this looks from every angle. You know, just a slight change, you know what I mean? Just so fucking good, man. I mean, from the sculpting work on the torso to get that accuracy of what Schwarzenegger looks like now at that age, man. It's just so fucking good, man. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. And then zooming in on the face a little bit here. Incredible work, man. Like, the time it takes to put this down, man. Whew, man. And like I said, silicone, man, you know, you can definitely, depending on the painter, you know, like I said, YJ Park is a good example. I've said this in previous videos and I may have mentioned it already earlier, but check out his Instagram or his Facebook. I mean, he does purely resin and you would think they were silicone. You know, he could tell you that it was a silicone sculpt that he had and people would believe it because that's how good it looks. You know, it's really all based on the painter. You know, some people feel that silicone gives you really good realism. And I think, you know, and it does, but man, you can accomplish almost the same thing with resin, man. You know, to some extent, you know, I do agree with some people who say that silicone is kind of just a gimmick, really. And, you know, and it kind of is, you know, to some extent, but, you know, I don't know, man. Like I said, YJ Park, man, check him out. You look at those sculpts, the realism is absolutely amazing. And those are not silicone, those are resin, and he's just a really good fucking painter. You know, Yellum, another one. Check her out. Instagram, Facebook. Their shit speaks to themselves. And you can also hair, you know, resin. You know, maybe it won't look as good. Maybe that's a step up, you know, to some extent. Maybe a reason to go with silicone at times. But I don't know, man. I think you can get just as good as realism. But obviously, no one has made this, you know, in resin. So, you know, would it be cheaper? Absolutely. But hey, no one's made it. This is the one that's out. This is what exists. It's expensive as fucking hell, and it is what it is. You know what I mean? But man, goddamn, dude. So let me turn him all the way to the side. Here he is from the bottom up, turned all the way to the side. Wow, man. I'm telling you, just wow. Then you come over here. Look at that fucking hand, dude. The endoskeleton arm, rather. Man, just fucking badass, man. A little closer looks at the battle damage cuts there on the side of the neck. That herring job is incredible, man. Like I said, this thing comes with a hairnet on initially, so you got to style it. But it's, I believe they use real hair, so. You know, it's just some futzing and, you know, taking care and making sure you get it right. So let me turn them around again and all the way from the back. And then, like I said, you know, the silicone goes down to like just kind of below where that, you know, neckline of the t-shirt is in the back there. So that's all silicone right there too as well. And just incredible. Again, the real skin, you know, kind of look to it, man. Just, again, I think you can accomplish the same thing with resin to some extent, but, you know, maybe more of those textures and the way you see some of the wrinkles in the skin, maybe that is captured better, you know, with silicone. But yeah, you know, we all got our opinions, right? And then we'll turn them around, show you the other side. I'll get to show you this part of the elbow. Again, that's not silicone, but would have been nice if it was. You know, again, this is where I would fault them a little, you know, so for the price of this, right, 4,500 bucks. The main part of the arm, you know, here up, that's all resin, you know, again, painted, you know, but that piece, that should have been silicone, man. For $4,500, at least for the part that's exposed, that should have been silicone. The rest of this is all resin. You know, that's the whole body there. It's all resin essentially. Again, except for, you know, up there, you know, by the neck. And then the arm, man, this should have been some kind of die cast. If it is, and I'm mistaken, then I apologize. But I don't remember seeing anything about that this was die cast or metal of any kind. That, again, for the price, should have been. But again, some gripes, like I said, here and there. And then as we kind of go up, you can see, you know, the battle damage parts here. The switch to turn on his light in the eyes, like right there. It's really tiny. It's like a little button. That piece right there comes out. That's where the batteries compartment hides. Part of the ear blown off there. Really good stuff, man. Nice details. You know, again, incredible sculpting work. Incredible sculpting work. So let's get this guy turned back around. I'll have the light on so you can check that out. There he is with the light on. Very subtle. You know, not too bright. But I like that. One video I saw, the weird thing, man, I think I might be the first American reviewer to actually, or first person in the States to do a review of this, because most of the other ones are all overseas. But the one guy, he was doing a review talking, some of it was in English and some of it was whatever his native language was. I think he was saying like it was a little dull, wasn't bright. I don't know if he was saying it was, you know, that was a negative for him, but it's not for me. You know, I like that it's, you know, subtle. I think it's supposed to be to some extent, because it's not like the battle damage version where the eyeball is like essentially gone. You know what I mean? Like on the Queen Studio one, or if you're, you know, referencing the movie or thinking about that, you know what I mean? So I think it probably should, you know, because the battle damage version, like the eyeball is completely gone. There's nothing shielding it, right? So you see the LED, you know, essentially that's beaming through. So it would be brighter. But for this, you know, the cornea and the iris and the pupil and all that stuff, the actual, you know, whatever the organic components of the eye are actually still there. So it technically wouldn't be, you know, that bright, because it's getting, you know, kind of, again, like kind of filtered, you know, through those barriers, you know what I mean? But I dig it. I think it looks fucking awesome. So, like I said, I'm not fucking complaining. I think it's really good. Gives that just that little bit more, man. You know what I mean? Really, really cool. So, final thoughts. Like I was saying, overall, man, this thing is still, with my gripes, like I said, endoskeleton arm. If it is, and I'm wrong, then okay. But I'm pretty sure it's not, because I don't remember seeing it as an advertisement, you know, as a feature, we'll say, when I was looking at this. Should have been some kind of die cast or metal. The exposed part of the arm, that should have been silicone, at least. I don't care that the body wasn't, because, you know, it would up the price. But again, for $4,500, man, some die cast metal, dude, that piece right there of his arm still, you know, the exposed part should have been silicone. And other than that, you know, I think that's it, man. I mean, those are probably my big gripes. You know, but again, for $4,500, man, you know, should the whole body have even been maybe silicone? I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know how much it costs, you know, to purchase platinum grade silicone. So those of you guys who are silicone experts or who are artists in the hobby and make silicone masks or busts or whatever, you know, maybe you guys can speak to it. You know, is $4,500 a fair price, you know, based on medical grade platinum silicone? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I'll leave it to you guys to answer that. But for just, you know, a headpiece, you know, essentially, you know, from the neck, you know, part of the trapezius and whatnot and up, you know, in the head and the hair, you know, does this really constitute a $4,500 price tag? You know, I don't know, man. You know, like I said, I mean, you're getting an incredible bust, man. I mean, when you look at it and you think of the price, you're like, you know what, that's worth it, you know, looking at this thing. But, you know, in the grand scheme of components and cost, you know, I don't know, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, you know, like I said. But like I also said, I was saying that a lot today, man. I like this movie though, man. It's, you know, it was a little all over the place. People didn't like John Connor getting killed, but, you know, that was James Cameron's idea too, apparently. He really wanted to shock the audience, and he did. He pissed a lot of people off, but, you know, I don't know what they would have done with the character, man. I mean, you know, people are saying, okay, they could have used a different actor for, you know, an older Edward Furlong, you know, an older John Connor or whatnot. You know, they obviously couldn't use, you know, Ed Furlong because unfortunately, you know, his life kind of got really derailed, you know, by drugs and alcohol, substance abuse, all kinds of stuff, man. Again, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, you know, kind of the symbolism to real life almost, you know, because, you know, Edward Furlong, you know, his life was, you know, and his career was partially destroyed, you know, or killed because of substance abuse, you know, and alcohol abuse and what was going on in his life. And then, you know, to see him, you know, his character kind of get killed, you know, at the beginning of the movie, you know, again, some of that symbolism to real life was, you know, it definitely hit a little bit for me. And I don't think Cameron had that, you know, in his mind, or, you know, or any of the writers had it in their mind when they were, you know, thinking about that. But, you know, like I said, you know, it's just a little wild to kind of think about, you know what I mean? Definitely kind of wild to think about. And again, you know, the movie was a little all over the place, man, but the action was great. You know, the antagonist, you know, the villain, you know, essentially that they were going up against in that movie was really well done. The action was good. You know, Sarah Connor coming back was nice. I liked, you know, Schwarzenegger coming back as, you know, the T-800, and some people didn't agree with, you know, the aging concepts and all that stuff, but, you know, they talked about it, they tried to explain it. And again, I think it's a good representation. You know, I think it still stands as a reasonably good Terminator film. You know, it was fun. It was fun, and the ending was sad, man. So, you know, this is, again, to have this version of Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know, in the collection is a no-brainer for me, man. I mean, this is his last movie, dude, and this is an incredible bust, man. Absolutely incredible. So, but that's my gripes, my opinions. I told you I would tell you kind of everything that I thought and my overall, you know, kind of opinion on this thing. And like I said, it's absolutely incredible. You know what the issues are that I had, but man, no way I was going to turn down putting this into the collection, man. It's just absolutely one of the best busts in existence that's ever made, man. I mean, as far as likeness, the work they put into it, it's absolutely fucking incredible. So, I'll see you guys at the next video, whatever that's gonna be. I have no idea. Hopefully it's the H kills that a lot of people are waiting for. Other than that, deuces, my people.